Here we go. Here we go. All right, we're back. We're gonna follow up this Auburn victory. We were all there, got to see it in person. Up and down game, to say the least. But like J Mac says, a win is a win, and it's hard to win in this league. So let's. I'm gonna start with you, J Mac, man. What do you think about the performance? What did you see? What did you like? What didn't you like? Talk to me.
And Cook we trust. That's what I saw.
God ain't gonna
No,
like
for
that when
real,
we get to the
man.
gate.
Come on, man.
uh, no, man. It's great, man. It was a gritty win. To really put together your best ball that you've played probably over these last couple stretches of game, like stretch of games, right in the fourth quarter, right? Like, they were able to put some drives together, get the stops they needed to get on defense, um, and really, make plays when it counted in the pass game. And I feel like that's been lacking a little bit. It was good to see Luther get involved there in the fourth quarter, especially when Cook went out, Pine went in. I would have hung my hat. I would have leaned on Luther, right? Jet sweeps,
He's got
boots,
to touch it.
right?
Yeah.
Swipes behind the line, anything that we could do, bubbles, anything we could do to get the ball in his hand. So,
Hmm.
but it was good to see him get involved there in the fourth quarter. And ultimately, man, Cook, I'm never a prisoner of the moment, right?
Okay.
But I think the response that the team had, and then you see the locker room clips. I think that goes to show you how much the team, right, trusts Cook, right, and how much he means to that team. So to see him, go inside and get whatever he needed to get to come back out and play, man, was an awesome thing. And I think the guys rallied behind it. I think when they saw him coming, I think that gave him a little boost of energy.
Mhm. So what about you? What do you like? What didn't
Well,
you like either?
I mean, with me on Big Mo, I mean, ain't much they can do but win. I feel like the only
Yeah.
few times I did it, we've won the game, man. So I mean, in all seriousness, watching the game was something that's a little tough when you're at the game.
Mhm.
We're walking around, enjoying it, seeing our people that we haven't seen in a long time, and just
Mhm.
kind of taking in the moment. But I had a feeling that they were going to do what they needed to do to win the game. Ebbs and
Yeah.
flows, just like all of our wins that we've had, even our the ups and downs of the A&M game. I mean, we penalties, whatever, not too many ebbs and flows in that game, but um, it was fun to be back. It was fun to watch them compete. They were in another battle,
Yeah.
and you want to be battle tested in this. You're gonna be battle tested, but I think this is one of those wins where down the road you'll get a chance to kind of look back on this one and like, man, we've been here before. We've had our quarterback not even be here. The only reason I think we're in that position is because we're missing our quarterback. Because I was just kind of
Mhm.
waiting on him to kind of hit his stride. It's been a few weeks where
Yeah.
he's just kind of been kind of steady Eddie, and needed to play better. And I think, man, he's one of the hottest topics in college football right now. The way
Mhm.
he came back and persevered through, whatever he was going through.
Yeah.
Didn't really get the whole scoop on that. Might have to, see if we
Yeah.
can we can call Drink, maybe figure out. He might tell us a little bit, but I'll tell you what he said. The guy died out there on the field for everybody. I said, oh yeah, man, it's deep, it's deep. So
Mhm.
for Cook to do what he did, man, I think that's the story for me. The defense. Um, it was kind of up and down. Still not seeing the tackling that I want to see, but I remember
Mhm.
seeing a big play in the middle of the field where we put one of their guys down, and it wasn't a targeting play. It was just a great, clean football hit. So
I
hopefully
seen
that
it.
can that hopefully that can inspire us to go out there and continue to be physical because we're definitely going to need it headed down to Tuscaloosa this weekend.
We will need him. I think Cook said. I think one of his quotes was like he had 2.5 games left at the zoo. He's like, I can't imagine not finishing. And one, I think that's a testament to the university because I'm not sure if there are a lot of universities out there where guys are willing to like, really put it all on the line. I think guys love their brothers, you know what I mean? And they play hard for one another. But when you talk about, I'm only going to be in this stadium 2.5 more times. And I mean, I think he's just the epitome of the name of this show. You know what I mean? I think I saw a comment saying that it's going to be a true son. You know what I mean? I think he really is.
Most definitely.
I think he plays for, without a doubt, without question, the name on the front of the jersey. You know what I mean? And it shows. And I think we need a fight. I think J Mac made a really good point. I mean, a couple of weeks ago after our loss to A&M, he said, drinks teams fight," and it's right. That's what we did to win this game. So talk to me more about the fight you saw, Spoon, from the defense to kind of really hold the chain, hold the rope while Cook was gone.
Well, man, it was a tough battle all in all. I mean, being down for the majority part of the game, it's really easy on defense to kind of get that here we go again type of thing.
Hmm.
Not having your everyday starting quarterback out there when you look from the sideline, it's a lot of ways for us to be negative in that moment. But
Yeah.
Coach Batoon and his guys, you could just sense that they were locked in. I remember I walked past the back. I did my lap around the stadium, and
Okay.
I walked through, and I try not to disturb the players, but I could just see everybody taking instruction. And this was late in the fourth quarter. I was
Hmm.
looking, I was just trying to get a beat on what's going on, and those guys were locked in. Nobody's looking at me, say, "Hey, man, I see you on the jumbotron." But just looking at the way the defense responded to not having their quarterback was something that really stood out to me because when you don't have all your guys on offense, you really have to hang your hat on defense. And to be honest, we just hadn't tackled well all season, in my opinion, against unless we played the lesser opponents. And it seemed like the SEC runners have been a little bit more elusive. If that's the quarterback, or if that's just getting the ball in the hands of the playmakers really quick, it seemed like we're kind of getting that hidden yardage in a lot of those tackles where we're right there squaring them up, but somehow they fall for an extra two, extra three to maybe get them the first down. And you just saw later on in the game, the guys really take on that challenge to go out, be physical, and make the plays. And there's a lot of great things that I saw on defense. Just the energy in the building, based on them getting stops to give the offense another chance. You always gotta tip your hat to a defense that can do that. And I think that's gonna be something that's gonna help us down the road. So the challenges are still out there. Everything is still in front of them, and they went out and played for their brother.
Yeah. Mac, I didn't see, like you said, we don't know what actually happened to Cook. We do know he came back in the game and it looked like he was good as new. Um, what should we do going into week? I mean, going into Alabama, are we tailoring to kind of keep him healthy? Like, or you just business as usual? Let's go play ball.
I think you see how he felt Sunday, right? I think Sunday is a big test, and then actually Monday is going. Today would it be an even bigger test to see how he feels. Kind
Hmm.
of that second day soreness. It's kind of the same thing with injuries sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Especially if whatever it is that you did to get back out there and play wears off and all that other stuff, right? Um, but I would assume that he's going to play, right? You don't very rarely does a guy come back into a game and then miss the following week. Um,
Yeah.
so I would assume that he's going to play, but I think I doubt his practice workload is going to be the same.
Hmm.
And out of just pure caution, right, you got to get Pine some reps, uh, just in case, right? Just in case whatever happens, he re-aggravates or whatever the case may be. Because I heard knee, I heard ankle, right? I don't really know which one it was. So, uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think I mean, the way he talked, the way Coach Drink talked, the way he looked when he came back, he even had a couple of scrambles, and
Hmm.
he think they even called a Q run.
Yeah.
Um,
He
I,
scored.
yeah, I would fully anticipate Cook playing for sure.
Okay. Good playing and business as usual. So, what are some things, Mike, that you saw that we can take into next week? I
I
know we
mean,
didn't see a lot of Cook, but
yeah.
how
Well,
do you build off of that? Because it's not
I
a
think you
complete game.
I think you saw us open up the passing game a little bit with more intermediate routes, right? I think if they're gonna give you cover one single eye, man, put Luther in the slot, give him a two-way go, let him work. Right, we end up converting the fourth down on that.
Hmm.
Um, you know, I think we saw a little bit more of that in that fourth quarter because we had to,
Hmm.
but two, I feel like it was a way to kind of get Cook in a groove and get him going early. He had the long completion of Mookie, who turned into a yak play. Um, and I had some other completions down the stretch too. Had one to Theo for a first down. So uh, it was good to see the offense, right, move the ball methodically down the field using that intermediate passing game.
Definitely, definitely. Spoon, as far as the defense goes, you mentioned the big play in the middle. You know what I mean? That was kind of like a game sealer for us. You know what I mean? How do we take that down to a team in Alabama where you know it's gonna play physical football? Like that's kind of the epitome of physicality. You know what I mean? How do you bring that and build off of that in practice? What are you doing?
Well, the one thing that Jeremy always says it's the SEC. So, I mean, if we want to focus, if we want to kind of say, oh, it's Bama, we have to be more physical. I mean, I think just doing what you need to do to win the game was the challenge last week, and that'll be the challenge moving forward. So each game is going to take its own shape. I would love to see Bama's backs being hit going backwards and corralling this quarterback. It's going to be a challenge that, a lot of people haven't been able to do it, but somehow, a couple people have beat them. And I look
Hmm.
at our guys, and we beat teams that have beat them. And so I know it's different, but ultimately, what we have to do out there is stop the run. Coming off of the Auburn game, where we're going against a team that's up on us, and they would love nothing more than to run that clock out and get out of this building. And we were down. We threw the ball 21 times with the backup quarterback and
Yeah.
at least 22 times with the starting quarterback. So the game was just one of those games you probably won't see a game like that again. I don't think we've ever had a game where two
No.
quarterbacks have taken 22 pass attempts or 20 passing attempts. So that put even more pressure on our defense, playing with the guy who's not even, you didn't prepare for that guy to be in there. But we did whatever we needed to do to win that game. They that hit in the middle of the field was, I think that's just something that I would like to show as a head coach. This is the mentality of our team. Maybe we haven't been as physical as we'd like to on 2 feet. I know the defensive line, the offensive line have been our strong points this year,
Hmm.
but we're gonna hang our hat on when the time comes. We have the guys in position to make those plays, and I just saw a lot of competing, a big
Yeah.
big competitive game. I mean, I know the other team hasn't won a league game yet, and it seems like shoot, they're just as good as us. Like Max says, it's the SEC, so you got to go out there and actually take it from them. And we did
Hmm.
that. So going forward, you put the work in at practice this week. We got to get one of those, one of the athletes that's not playing, but maybe a great athlete. That's who needs to be Milrow this week. Back when Kevin used to do it when he redshirted, and he we met real
Hmm.
real up and close. I mean, it's that's what you're gonna need this week. You're gonna need all the people in the building to put it on the line as if they were Brady Cook, because that's what he did for us. And let's go out and give him a chance on his last hurrah to go down to Alabama and get a big one and keep us rolling, man. Because a lot of people don't believe, but like Max said in the past, everybody in Columbia, they still
Yeah.
believe. They still see what's in front of them and know that
Yeah.
it's right there, week after week, play after play. We just have to have that mindset to hold on to the rope.
Before we go on to Alabama for good, J Mac, the run game. I'm looking at Carroll. He led us with 40 yards
How many
on the
carries?
game, only on 8 carries.
Yeah.
And I would expect more running when your QB's not in the game, right? Or no? Am I looking at it different?
Listen, you would that yeah. Ideally, right? That's kind
Mhm.
of how it goes, right? You want to settle the young Q down, but really he's not a young Q. That dude's played a lot of football.
Good point.
You know what I mean? So like maybe it's
It's
one of those
trust.
things where like, hey, yeah, hey, this is the game plan. With Pine, we still feel comfortable, so let's stick with the game plan. So I think it's probably more so that than the first part of that. Um, but just in general, right? If you're averaging 5 yards a carry, right, I would just like to see us like commit to it just a little bit more because I feel like the games where we have committed to it, um, I think that we've been pretty successful. I think we ran the ball pretty successful. I think we've been pretty successful as an offensive unit. Um, but once again, I don't know what the game plan was. I don't know what Kirby's saying. Um, so I'm not going to question him because he's a great play caller. Um, I just know that if you that's why I said stats can be deceiving sometimes. Right? You look at it, you
Mhm.
see 5 yards of carry. I don't. What was his longest rush? Maybe
I don't know.
20 of that came on one rush or something like that. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's things like that.
Well, I want to chime in too, Kevin,
yeah.
to
Go
to
ahead.
the same point. Maybe when we were on the sideline, I looked up. I'm like, man, hold on, where's 12? I don't see him.
Hmm.
And I saw ESPN on the sideline, and
Yeah.
Taylor, I can't think of her last name right now, but she was trying to find him and trying to figure out what's going on. And me, I'm nosy, and so I asked. I said, well, what's going on? What are they saying? And she said that it was an ankle injury. He's
Okay.
going in to get taped, and he'll be right back. And so I think Drink maybe trusts,
3 quarters
the
later.
back up a lot, but maybe that's why he threw the ball so much to make
Hmm.
sure the clock wasn't, getting away from them. So if Brady was able to return, which they had suspected he
Hmm.
might be, that they'd be able to have enough, time on the clock for him to really get a chance to do his thing.
Yeah,
And man, it just surprised me that it took so long for him to come back out there.
I got you, man. Man, you were right. Carroll's longest run was 20 yards.
20.
Yeah, yeah.
So that means he had seven
So,
for 20.
yeah,
So Like that's tough. You know, I
It's tough to, yeah,
that's why you got to pay attention to the game and not just the stats. You know.
Hmm.
yeah. I feel you. I feel you.